This podcast is part of the Red 5 Network. For more Red 5 Network podcasts, visit red5network.com. Welcome to Growing Up with Andor, a Star Wars story. It is October 25th, 2022, and let's get started. You'll never believe that the graphic designer worked for free on these graphics here, except for the first one. That is actually a direct video from the Red 5 Network. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Extra Star Wars, Extra SW. You can make up words for the SW now, it doesn't matter. We're covering the Disney Plus series Andor, Star Wars' first show dropping curse words, growing up, and paying attention to the details. As the reviews start to rolling, we're excited to bring you our version of the show to help dissect this new version of Star Wars Andor and the Boys starts when the big bell rings. Make sure you follow Extra Star Wars on YouTube and Spotify, and don't forget to check out the Casa de Dupree, newly minted 1,000 subscriber person over on YouTube, and this is how rebellions work, Vel. This is how rebellions work. You know what I'm saying? The boys, we're back. Damien has come back. He is fully healed from the back to tank. We're glad to have you back, Dames. How you feeling? It's been a few weeks.
Good. I mean, yeah, I just it was weird because I was having like just a pounding, like not fast heartbeat stuff. And it was like anxiety. Kim was away for the week, and I guess like it just all kind of like hit me at the same time. And I felt bad for her because I'm like, hey, like I'm going to the ER, by the way, but you're like 3,000 miles away, so I just wanted to give you a heads up. She was
whatever,
but yeah, everything's good to go.
Good.
Clean bill of health. They put me in the back to tank for a little bit there and had some milk of the poppy, so I'm good to go.
I think the doctor prescribed you a World Series, and I think it's panning out for all of us in Philadelphia, especially those who live in South Philly. Mike, you're back. We're excited. How we doing, bud?
I am still living off the high that is Bryce Harper's 2-run shot in the 8th inning.
I knew he could do it. I knew it.
It's a blessing and a curse living so close to the stadium, because even if it was just regular, like Hulu is delayed.
Yeah.
And even if it was just like I hear in my house the roar of the crowd.
Oh my God.
From like a mile and a half away before anything happened. It's awesome. And it's also spoilers.
It's only a spoil if you don't listen to Scott Fransky's calls on the Odyssey app. We're not sponsored by them, but I just want to throw that in there.
Oh, Fransky's call.
Fransky is the best. He's a legend.
He's on
currently in the making. And in fact, I don't like that T-Mac is doing radio. Get him out.
Beat it.
Get him out. I don't care about these contract nonsense.
Stuff.
It's stupid. Get him out.
Go do college football
right now.
Yeah, get out of here. Do a Detroit game or something like that. Well, if you haven't heard, and we'll shout it to the rooftops, the Philadelphia Phillies on an unprecedented attack are the National League champions of the MLB. Now, I know that if you're listening to this, you probably don't watch sports, but we do. And we're very passionate about our sports in Philadelphia, and we're very passionate about Star Wars. Think of it this way for an analogy. Without everyone dying, the Phillies are currently approaching Scarif Base. Okay? And that's Houston, right? And we all know how that story ended. The Rebels won. Thank you very much. I rest my case. They all died too, but don't worry about that detail. It's irrelevant. Don't worry about that detail. It all works in the long run. So we got the Philadelphia Phillies in the World Series for the first time in 12 years. Is it 12? 13?
Uh,
2009?
2009, so 13.
13.
13 years. A lucky year. Did you see that weird person predict the next 10?
He's 2 for 2.
I don't like that. I mean, I love it, but I don't like it. You know, that's kind of wild. Hey, we've got, before we get the show started, we have a long one tonight, and I don't apologize in advance because we're doing 2 episodes, 6 and 7. We have a special announcement, which is a 24-hour live stream, now 25-hour live stream for a fellow Red 5 Tavern member whose house burnt down. They lost everything. Really terrible pictures that I saw, but there is a GoFundMe. You can find it over at the Sidebar Canteen. I think they've risen $500 out of the $2,500 goal. And for every $500 that they raise, they will add another hour into the live stream. So this is a coordinated effort that they asked me to be a part of, but I am indisposed this weekend for various events, so I could not partake in the 24-hour live stream. But that can be found. I think you can be able to find it over at the Red 5 network account, and I think it's just be a different accounts doing, hour to hour, 2 hours, 2 hours, or something like that. So if you can contribute, please do. Just head on over to Sidebar Cantina, find the GoFundMe, and contribute some funds so we can get that member. The beautiful thing is that I've never talked to that person, but when the Red 5 network calls for action, most people will answer. Okay, and that's a really great thing. So we'll save other special announcements for the between 6 and 7. Personally, for me, that I have not revealed just yet to the majority of 3 listeners out there, but we'll make sure that we get that taken care of. So I've watched the episodes 3 times each. Once casually, and then a few times with note taking, and then the third time I think was just noticements, just kind of getting into the vibe of things. But if we go back just to episode 5 predictions, right, Mike? Me and you, we talked about Cyril and like what's his role gonna play, and are we gonna see Krennic? Because of that engineer coming to Aldhani. Will Saul come up? That's going to probably just be an overarching theme for the rest of the show. Does Deidre find the rebel cell or not? We don't know. And then we sort of predicted some deaths. So I don't know if you have your notes from episode 5, handy dandy. But I sort of said Skeen dies, Taramyn dies, Cinta die, and then Vel, Nemec, and Andor survive, and then what happens after the heist, et cetera, et cetera. I think, from what I understand, that you were spot on with your death calls.
Yep.
Spot on. That's it. That's right.
Everybody except Cass, Vel, and Cinta.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, which is interesting because we sort of assumed from 5 that Vel and Cinta were going to have like this uninvolved plan.
Mm-hmm.
That was wrong. We were very wrong about that. That was kind of real. That was SEAL Team 6 sort of movements that they were doing with their little miniature submarine and their wetsuits and really setting. I mean, they made the call. Well, she made the call, Vel, but Cinta was like, no. It's time. We gotta do this. So that was great stuff. So let's talk about it. So episode 6 called The Eye, and the following characters appeared in The Eye and had a speaking role. We've got Jay Hold, which is that fat Imperial guy who's blaming packing on being overweight, and I love his wife roasting him. Hilarious.
Jay Hold like Behaz or something.
Yes, exactly. Rabota is the wife. Pedigar is the son's name. Stupid. I'm sorry. Pedigar is the engineer. Leonard is the son's name because we went into Game of Thrones for a second. Then you got Gorn, the 7, the normal 7, the Donnie Chief, Kimsey, and Dr. Quadpaw. Dr. Quadpaw at the end. So lots of not as many characters as the last one, which is nice. We were able to keep up with that. We had a funny 1-sentence summary. What was your 1-sentence summary from last time? It was like I am worried about keeping track of all these characters.
There's something along the lines of that, yeah.
Something, but that's funny. So welcome on in, Rogue One Radio. Great show. Thank you for being here. It was nice to see Todd on your show. All right, let's talk about our overall impressions for number 6 as we try to keep this at pace here. Dames, we haven't heard your voice in a while. So when you think of episode 6, The Eye, it's a culmination episode. It's the heist, right? It's the plan going into action. How'd you feel about it overall?
Overall, now we're doing one word for this, or we're just doing overall?
Just overall impression, and then we'll get to our top 3s in just a minute.
You have 6 words.
I
6.
thought it was a well done, slow burn.
Ooh, I love it.
Hour-long episode almost, like, took their time, and that's one of the beauties with this many episodes. They can do that. So I just thought it was a very nice, slow burn episode and kind of a change of pace from what we've had so far.
Yeah, I tend to look at the minutes, right, and I go 55. Wow, I'm just so not used to these lengthy episodes. I think we've been desensitized to length because of Kenobi and Mando and the chapters of Boba Fett, and I sort of was curious after second watch, and since you brought up the timing of it, the actual timing of the episode is 2 minutes and 35 seconds through 47 minutes and 11 seconds. So it's not even an hour, but it feels like an hour.
Right.
And they're really taking their time with it, and I agree with you totally. Mike, your overall impressions.
Yes.
So I feel like I had the same exact, the first time watching it, I had the same exact feeling. I'm like, wow, this is a slow burn, but I really like the pacing of it. I'm enjoying it. The second time I I feel like this is an episode you can only watch once, because the second time I watched it, because I was so involved and waiting to see the end of this story and how it would turn out. The second time through, I was just like, was this as suspenseful as I thought it originally was? I still enjoyed it. I really liked the episode, the pacing, how everything came together. We'll get to bottoms later, but
yeah.
Still a very enjoyable end to this part of this story. Like I said, I think for me, if I only watched it once, I would have liked it better.
Yeah, I'm with you. I wrote down again. I usually write my overall impressions down after first watch, and then I don't change them. That way it goes in. But I put, holy wow. What a thrilling episode from top to bottom. Eyes glued to the screen, twists, turns, and everything in between. And then I watched it again, and I disagree with you, Mike. I actually think it's I think the show is rewatchable in the sense that it for me, it keeps me exciting about looking for other things. And I know where it's going to go, and that's fine. I still felt the suspense build up. Especially with the Donnies, they're doing a little chanty chants, and they're running around trying to get to the place, and it's all timed out. It's all nearly perfect and whatever. And then Kim almost screws it up, and they go through that whole thing. It's super. I felt the intensity every single time I watched it. Even last night as I watched it, at 9 o'clock, and I went, ooh, 54 minutes. Ooh, am I going to make it before I fall asleep? But I didn't, and I was like, I forget that the time doesn't exist, and I'm watching it, and I'm really, really engaged. I think the music has a lot to do with that, keeping it fresh for me. But I could, like I said, we're not certainly used to these longer episodes, so I can totally see. I mean, if you're watching it just one off, you're probably entertained. But when you're analyzing it, it stinks. I gotta sit through this nonsense once again. So overall, I think mostly positive. I think for us all, again. 6 episodes in a row, mostly positive. Agreed?
Agreed.
Oh my God, we're Disney shills already. This is ridiculous. Okay. All right, so that's lovely. In the case of time, let's move on to our top 3s. I will start to show Damien what to do, and then Mike will go to show Damien what to do. It's called modeling, right? We're teachers, we're modeling. Okay, so I have a 3. I technically have 4, and I don't care. It's my show. I can have 4 if I want to. I'm gonna say visual. So I said that earlier. Visual. unfairness, and results. Mike?
I have just I.
Just a letter? No, I'm
just a letter. Heel turn.
Ooh.
Wild West.
Ooh.
Okay.
You get the game now?
I do.
Okay, good.
All right. So, payoff,
Ooh.
deceptive,
Ooh.
Breaking Bad.
Oh, we might have the same thing on Breaking Bad. Maybe. just maybe. Okay. So I'm going to read off the 9 words, because math is hard. Visual, unfairness, results, heel turn, Wild West, payoff, deception, and Breaking Bad. How could they connect? We're going to find out in just a second. So I
watched last week. It just organically happened, and it was amazing.
I'm going to draw lines. It's going to be wonderful, and then I'll post it later. All right, so I believe I can draw a line between visual and I right now, because my visual is all about the eye and how beautiful in HD, 4K, 18K, 18,000K, between the whooshes and just everything coming across. Donnie's crying. I was crying. I wasn't crying, but like I felt like I should have. And just from top to bottom, the loading up of the TIE fighters, the fighters coming out into the eye, just like the escape using incredible odds, resonated with me as they were escaping the Death Star blast on Jeddah. You know, that same sort of vibe I got. And then, you know, climb, and like K2SO like telling Urso and Andor to climb, you know, like that. And I'm just getting all these Rogue One vibes, and I'm just watching it all as our heroes escape. And I would say that was more intense than the gunfight in the basement of the vault. You know, like that's where I'm at with and that just starts with the visual of the eye. I think the scene is completely different if it's just like a black sky and TIE fighters chasing them and a normal shootout. But this was completely like a game-changing experience. Mike, you had eye.
Yeah, you put it perfectly. And like the stakes were higher too because of the eye. Like there's literally a small window that this Rono could go through.
Yeah.
And Nemec back to life after getting injected with adrenaline.
It's a med spike, damn it.
Yeah. There we go. Med spike. My bad. I forgot. I wrote the name of it somewhere.
Did you know he was paralyzed right off the? No, he's not gonna walk again.
I'll talk about that later.
Understood.
I'll talk about that later. But yeah, just the entire visual of the eye. I was excited to see how they were going to do it from, what was it, episode 4 when they were talking about it?
Yeah. And I didn't quite pick up on what they were talking about in episode 4. I'm like, what are they talking about? And then I sort of put it together, some sort of like visual or orbital sort of thing. And it was, I mean, it's a perfect cover.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take your eyes off of it. It's so smart.
I thought they were just going to be like, all right, we need to spend our money elsewhere. Let's just get like green screen Aurora Borealis in there, and that's it. No, they went all in on it, and it was amazing.
So I once upon a time made a Starfield in After Effects or Premiere, I forget. And like the amount of steps it takes to like create streaks of light and movement and stuff took me like an hour and a half. I don't know what they did. I don't know how they did it, but I like it. I like it. Dame, I'll throw to you. Do you have anything with the eye? Does any of your words rhyme with the eye?
So I did a visual, but I was trying to think of other stuff, not be exactly the same. Because I said that back when we were talking about, you know, the first couple episodes, and just like, I love how things look, the set pieces, like the different worlds we're going to. That really reminded me though of like 2001: A Space Odyssey. Like it was just kind of like very trippy. Everyone just kind of like it was. I really liked that whole sequence. It was just like basically everyone in the show when they're just staring, like that's like it was
Yeah.
crazy.
So very, very breathtaking. All right, well then, I will throw it to you. I think you can choose your word, of course, that you want to go off of. So which one do you want to fire away with?
So I had a Breaking Bad, even though it's 2 words. Because I really like the scene with Cassian. They're talking about splitting the credits, and then boom, Cassian shoots first.
Yeah.
And he just kind of at this point it's starting to kind of turn the wheels in his head that like the rebellion's not maybe something worth fighting for.
Yeah, that's an important scene. I would say, again, sort of connecting it to Rogue One in the street where he just kills that guy at a because he couldn't run. He's like, well, like you're disposable. Sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that was I guess I didn't expect Skeen to do what he did, which I think is going to connect with heel turn, Mike.
Correct.
Oh, right. Well, go ahead.
I really enjoyed the heel turn. Like, Cass is this, and I'll talk about it later, like his layers, and it just keeps up. Like, he really cannot trust anyone except like Marva. And he's like, this guy's gonna ruin my chance. I don't want the 40 million. I just want to take my cut and leave.
Yeah.
And you always kind of suspected that Skeen was kind of a jerk. And like, even after the, apology,
you fooled me. I'll tell you that right now.
Like I was still kind of like weary of him. And then you find out he's like, I don't have a brother. And Cass couldn't wait. He's like, I'm not Han Solo. I will shoot first.
Yeah, and
I think not even let you finish your sentence. I'm just going to shoot you.
And I think integrity-wise, I think Andor was like, "You don't lie to me."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no, we don't play those games. Yeah, I have no time for that. So yeah, no, that's two great points. Breaking Bad and heel turn. Let me talk about unfairness for a second. How poorly did the Empire treat the Donnies for the past 12 years, and how they manipulated them to do what they wanted to do by giving them so many choices that they never knew what they were actually choosing, and then them putting like certain barriers in their way, like comfort units with cheap drink, so there would be less numbers near the Imperial barracks. It's actually really brilliant. I hate myself for saying that, but they have everything set up, and it just reminds me of like it was a good way to visualize how long the Empire has been in place. And then you start thinking about what Andor has said, like they're fat and sloppy and they don't pay attention to certain details, and like that's exactly what's happening. And this J-Hold guy, who's a fatty, doesn't fit into his blouse anymore, and with his belt,
you've expanded.
Maybe you've expanded, yes. And it's like they are getting too comfortable.
Yep.
But even Luthen says, he may say this in episode 7. I apologize in advance. They've started choking us so slowly that we stopped noticing.
Oh, 7, yeah.
Was it 7? Yeah. So, but it's the same principle. I think it almost happens in the beginning of 7 as like a breakup to 6. It's so unfair. And what's nuts is it's going to get worse. And we'll talk about that. But I'm just like, that was such a mind-boggling. I love that they world builded for us in the beginning. Like they used Pettigrew as a beacon to give us information about what they've been doing. I'm curious about what they're building on Aldhani. And now, is it even going to happen with Pettigrew gone? It might not. I don't know. With the heist, it's probably nothing's happening. But what were they planning on building on Aldhani? What resource do they have to give other than 4-horned goats and disgusting milk? I don't know. What do you think about the unfair? Does anybody have the Empire?
It's not in either of my top 3s, but like I feel like the first time watching it, I missed all that when J-Hold was explaining everything.
Yeah,
Then
it's right in the beginning. Yeah,
I'm just like, all right, let's get to the action. It's like, this is the part on, OnlyFans that I skip.
Nice.
So I was watching it with the subtitles the second time around, and I'm listening to J-Hold explain everything, and I'm like, this dude's an evil genius, setting up all these little drinkeries and whatnot. So he said, I think something along the lines of like, they start with 1,500.
50,000 or something,
50,
like some crazy number. Yeah.
And by the time they get to here, how many are there? 60.
Yeah. It's going exactly as we planned. I mean, because that's exactly what they did. They planned it.
And they said something about like what they're building, and they said, we'll need workers too. So they're going to end up using the Aldanis as their slaves. Just evil.
Yes, but I don't know if you picked up on this through several watches. Is that this Donnie tribe person's not really? I think he's starting to get it.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit. He throws the pelt into the fire and whatever. But yeah, no, I don't. We'll talk that. We'll get to that in noticements. But yeah, no, one of my tops was just seeing. You hear, the Empire's so evil, but they weren't evil, but they were very smart to manipulate things, and that I'm going to bring in some EU stuff right now because it's a book that I've recently read, the Heir to the Empire, and then the next book in that, which I forget what it's called. But anyways, Dark Force Rising. There's a tribe in there called the Nogiri, and the Empire sort of was helping them on their planet by creating crops so they could sustain themselves after the war was brought from the rebels or whatever. Except that the Empire's crops were manipulated scientifically to never grow or take very long time to grow. So the Nogiri would have to rely on the Empire for harvesting. And as a result, they were taking resources from them and using them in their fights and stuff like that. It's almost exactly what's happening with the Donnies. Which is crazy, so it's like, for me, I was like, I just read that. That's EU stuff. That's pretty cool. They're bringing it into here, which makes sense, for the TV, the big grandeur of that. So I thought that was really interesting. All right. So that was Unfairness for me with a little bit of commentary. Mikey, you have Wild West?
Yes, I do have Wild West.
Okay.
The robbery, the Wild West shootout. That's all it was. I am a huge fan of the Wild West shootout. I don't know why I'm a huge fan of the Wild West shootout.
Do you like the one-on-one or like the group where people are hiding behind things, more like that?
Yeah, like Tombstone
style.
It reminded me of Tombstone a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
Like there's that tense, like who's going to shoot first? When what's his name? Kimsey or whatever his name?
Kimsey, that son of a gun.
It's like, what's going on here? I gave you an order, and then just shot fire. And
come on, Don.
In typical Wild West shootout fashion, like there's people running around and just getting shot in the back, trying to go from point A to point B.
Yeah, no, it was good, well rehearsed.
Hiding behind barriers and like firing 2 shots and cover me. I just enjoy the Wild West shootouts.
Yeah. I have so I was like, I'm going to write down exactly who dies at one point in the shootout. And since you brought it up, this would be a good time to talk about it. So first off, Cinta gets the first kill, right?
Mm-hmm.
She takes out Pedigar immediately, has no time for so that was crazy. Then you have, which is pretty crazy. And again, it's like they fire, it's so fast, it's hard to fit. Kimsey takes out Gorn. First down. Gorn down. Immediately, Andor gets Kimsey. Second one. Boom. Kimsey's done. One from Kimsey's crew goes down. I forget who gets that shot. Taramin goes down. And is this foreshadowing? Skeen stopped covering him. He went back behind the barrier. And as soon as he went back behind the barrier, Tarraman gets got. So he's out. And then we hear, Nemec, but not from the shootout, of course. But
there was that one guy that was had cast in the sleeper hold, that Nemec.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So Nemec, yeah. Oh, you know what? I put that. I said Nemec gets his. That's what I put down. Yeah, Nemec gets his. It's pretty crazy, that Wild West shootout. But a good scene. Really, really fun. Felt like anyone could die in that scene.
Yeah.
Like nobody's missing on purpose, no plot armor, in my opinion, except for Andor. He has to survive. But no, pretty good so far. Dames, anything on the shootout before we move on?
Nope.
All right, so then we have deception and payoff for you.
So payoff was just the just like kind of the ending of the episode, like the whole heist came together. Just for me, it paid off. Like usually I'm not really a fan of like these kind of like long drawn out episodes, but because we're not getting 6 episodes, I love it because we can take the time to do this, and it was very meaningful. I mean, there was definitely a lot of loss throughout the episode, so for me, it paid off. And then deception or deceptive is actually one I have for episode 7.
Oh, so we're gonna pretend that never existed, and we'll move that to episode 7. So then,
deceived us.
You have deceived us in
because
IRL.
I was initially doing what we did the last time I was on, where we did
I see
top 3 from multiple episodes.
I got you.
But jotting down some 7s right now.
Well, you must have missed the memo. We sent it in the mail. Give me results. So my final word was results, which is funny because that actually goes to your payoff. I really enjoyed like the reports of Aldhani coming in through the Senate, and like Mon's trying to like talk about something. No one cares, Mon. And its effect on the core worlds. And then it goes from ISD to the Senate to Luthen. And we're seeing everybody's different reaction, from what's his face in the ISD, like no one's leaving until we figure out what's going down, to the Senate where they're like, there's been an attack, we're piecing out, like any kind of politics, political people, they're like, we got to get to safety. And then Luthen, he's all one of the really cool things that I noticed, but it actually goes with the results and payoff, because I watch it with subtitles, as I know some of you do, is the episode ends on an exhale. And I just thought that was really cool, because finally, like, it was like me, the audience too, like, whoa, I can breathe now too, because this episode is over. So I thought that was a really, really cool little thing. Thoughts? Miguel?
I don't think.
Thanks. Fair enough. All right. Well, that's great. Again, we have 2 episodes to go, so we're going to drag the banter down and move on to the not so fun things of the episode, and that is our list of grievances. Welcome back to the list of grievances. In this list of grievances, again, we're going to list words that describe the scumminess of this episode. So, Mike, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, I'll give you all 3, right? Just give you all 3 words.
Give me all 3.
Right. Cliche. Packing.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Packing. And are we TVMA right now?
It's 10:15.
So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cock tease.
Okay. Mine are diverse, loud, and maniac. Dames, I know we're putting you on the spot here. We gave you enough time. I hope so. Ready? All right. What do you got?
I got
doing
2.
6 if you can. 2's fine.
2. predictable,
Ooh.
and DH, and I'm not talking about designated hitter, referring to one character specifically.
DH. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. So me and Mike will start off. We'll double down and we'll get to 2. All right, Mike. What do you want to start with?
I'll start with cliches.
I don't like when you turn pages when it's list of grievances. That makes me nervous.
No, so it's not. It's because it's one page of notes. The bottom of it the bottom of the front side starts.
Got it. So you're a psycho. Understood.
I am a psycho.
Okay, got it.
Seriously, it won't be taking that long. Cliche. As much as I love Wild West type stuff, I hate robbery rhetoric.
Okay.
So I feel like every movie that has some sort of robbery, or every show that has some sort of robbery, they all have to get these lines out, and it just annoys me. There's always like, "Hurry! I'm not joking. All of it. Move faster. Do you want to live? Faster or you're dead." Like, they hit every robbery cliche nail right on the head.
I hated every time Skeen screamed.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time. Let's get going. I can't agree with you more. I get it. I know they have to do it, but I totally agree. It's just so ridiculous. And I know you're supposed to be really intense and probably no one's quiet during that time, but I can totally get down with the cliches. And I think that's where my Skeen was just being a maniac during that scene. And that's my connection between cliche is just his nuts. And then he has a dumb scene, since I'm on Skeen, which wasn't one of my words, but I wrote it down anyway, was like one of the celestial comets goes by and he's like, "Oh, look at that. Dude, you're supposed to be a soldier. What are you doing? I don't understand why you did that. Why are you doing? Like, is that supposed to be like, was he trying to entice the other? Everybody look and get like, was that part of the act? Like, I don't know. I just felt it was so out of place. After Taramyn yelled at them 48 times because they were walking slowly, he's just going to throw oh, look at that. He's like, so stupid. What's happening here? God. Ridiculous. Cliche. Okay, so cliche, I got Maniac. That knocks out 1 and 1 for us. Speaking of trying to be a good soldier, Echo 1. Echo 1. Echo 1. Why can't anybody hear them? Like, what is... Taramyn, you're speaking out loud. The guys are right down the hill. You're trying to make contact with Valley One. We get it, but you're screaming. Shut the fuck up. Shh. You're in.
Yeah, those comms are not like.
What are you doing?
They don't like have earpieces in. They're just like loud. They're like walkie-talkies.
Are we a go? You guys being so loud. Like silent library. What are we doing? I don't understand. Like, is this really a show? I don't get it. But okay, that's fine. These are little nitpicky things, but they stuck out to me. They stuck out to me. All right, that knocks out loud. For me, that knocks out 2 for me. So now I can throw it to Damien. So you got predictable or DH, Damien? What do you got?
So predictable kind of goes off of like cliche with what Mike was saying. Like anytime there's a heist, anything, like, you know, there's just bodies that they throw into the crew that aren't going to make it out. And obviously like Taramyn being, you know, what was basically in canon, like the first trooper to like defect, you knew he wasn't.
I thought that was a cool detail.
I thought that was pretty cool too.
I didn't make that connection though, that he wasn't going to make it out because of that. So that's an interesting point you made.
I thought for him, like once you do that, like you're pretty much a goner. It's just a matter of time until then. Obviously, like they're going to come into some conflict and it's not going to be squeaky clean. Then they're going to eventually get away, and you know there's going to be the loss of those characters that were just kind of extra baggage for the show. So I mean, that's like the predictable part for me. But like I said, I still enjoyed it. I do wish like Taramyn made it out. That would have been cool. But I think anytime there's that guy that or girl that turns on, evil. Like they get got pretty quick.
Yeah. No, that makes sense, and I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't notice that at all. I just thought, yeah, unlucky. And maybe that was part of the story group, as they would say. Good stuff. Mikey, packing or cocktease, as they would say.
I feel like we should end with that one.
Obviously. I'm glad we're on the same page.
So this is coming from someone who loves packing their car to go on summer vacation.
Yep.
The way that they packed all of the credits into that Rono just makes me angry. And Nemec's death could have been avoided because they put these wheels or these what are they? The little
pallets.
Pallets and
Yeah.
trucks
Pallet movers or trucks, hand trucks.
of millions and millions of credits just willy-nilly in this Rono, and as soon as it blasts off, boom, he gets like Mel Gibson's wife in Signs.
Ooh, good comparison.
Where are the space dollies?
Yeah,
I
why aren't they floating?
I thought the same thing.
Right? What's going on here?
Maybe they were in a pinch. They were just like, oh, we can't find whatever.
Nemec was in a pinch. Yikes.
Hey.
Yeah, no, I guess with Gorn yelling at them, they're on a time, they're getting as much as they can. I get it, but I don't have to like it.
Yeah. All of the, cliches.
For sure. My final one, and then we'll throw it to Damien and then back to Mike. Are the Donnies too diverse? If you look at them, you've got white people, Asian people, black people, brown people. I don't get it. I'm trying to figure it out, and I'm trying to be sensitive to everybody, but are they too diverse? There's a lot of different cultures represented in the Donnies, and now I'm curious, since they've been around forever, I guess not forever, but they seem to be tribal and very simple. But why are they so diverse? I don't think they space travel. So is this like a destination people get to? And they do the thing, what's going on? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me logically as to why they would have such a diverse group of people outside of Star Wars and being Star Wars and Disney stuff.
Can I just add right now that we are three white men talking about why a group of people is so diverse?
Correct. We're here for answers. I just don't like it. The first time I looked at it, I was like, what? It's the same idea of
Frozen. You're saying that there was too many accents.
It's the same idea of Frozen 2. All of a sudden the town is diverse. What? I know what you're trying to do and you're trying to be sensitive to it, but make it make sense. First off, make it make sense. That's where I'm standing on it. And I didn't like it, and that's why it's in my bottom. Diversity. Didn't work in this case.
Oh, I wish you were running for office so we could be like, Sean Garcetti doesn't like diversity.
He is so conservative, he's whitewashing white people.
He lambasted the Donnies.
That's right. He burned every single one of their pelts. Clearly,
all while drinking out of a space Yeti.
That's right. That's right.
He set up drinking points along the way so the Aldani could not see their precious religious ritual.
While others weren't allowed on the beach, Space Cancun was open to Sean.
I'm J-Hole Behaz, and I approve this message.
Oh boy, yeah. Yeah. You know, the Empire said that they were smelly. Just to let you know that.
That's fair.
Okay. I don't not like them. I just don't like how they were unfortunately too diverse for me, and we're going to need to tone that back. Okay? They were unrealistically diverse for me. It is what it is. Okay? I'm going to stick to it. It's official now. It's canon. DH probably stands for diversity head.
Yeah,
Right?
no, we'll just go with scumbag, and we'll go with my boy Skeen, who from the
Ooh.
start, I knew that he was scummy. Like I know, like it's not like upstanding citizens brigade going in here to do this, but I like once him and Cassian are sitting down, I'm like, there's something that this guy's like an ulterior motive this guy's got going on here. And just the fact that he's like lied about his backstory, to get to his position. And then like Cassian just kind of like Cassian would bought into it and was like invested in his cause and helping him because of all the lies he sold. So he got what was coming to him for sure. I did not like Skeen.
I love that
every heist group has to have one. Like,
yeah, no, he got me good, for sure. We had some good connections here. The only ones that didn't really connect. Oh, I'm sorry. Mikey, go ahead.
Speaking of the Donnie, was I the only one that thought that the Donnie were going to do some slaughtering of those officers that were around their little celebration?
I thought an uprising was coming.
Like maybe they were going to be in on the heist kind of a thing and cause a distraction, because we kept getting intense music. We kept getting
them like chanting and doing their song and stuff.
Throwing the pelts.
It needs to be a song,
fire,
like a techno song.
And then it's just like, nope, we're just here for a party and watch this sky.
I never once thought that they were going to do anything. However, I did feel, like I said earlier, that the chieftain wasn't all in on this Imperial stuff anymore, and he's pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to go through these barriers that never were there 12 years ago, and he's just been dealing with this and dealing with it. So I can definitely feel that maybe something should have happened. Gorn and him seem to be in cahoots a bit.
Yeah.
He speaks the Donnie language, so that's pretty respectful.
And Gorn even like changes what he says to Jay.
Yes, and he noticed.
Yes.
Right? And he was like, what? Hey, listen, I'm Donnie Bryan Cranston, and don't change my words.
That's what we do.
That's an interesting point. I could understand why we would get a little tease there, but you know what? It's not going to matter in the long run because they were all taken into custody. Doesn't matter.
Yes.
So they were in debt, whatever. Yeah. So okay. So we had some good connections here. Me and Dames had a good connection to Skeen. You and Damien had a good connection with predictability and cliches, and everything else was a loose cannon, and that is okay. And that is okay. We're loving the people in the chat right now. Welcome on in to Steve, Megan, Betts, and the Podfather himself, Ro, the go-getter scuttlebutter. We're glad you're here. As we move on, and let's just fly through noticements, let's get going. Good day, everyone. The noticements are here. Stop laughing. And I wrote down one thing that Mike had a question about for the past 5 episodes, and it was, does Andor smell his drink every time he gets one? And I think he did not smell his drink at the opening scene between him and Nemec.
I don't think he took a sip though either.
I don't remember, but I know he didn't.
I think it was food, not a drink.
It wasn't. I thought Nemec poured a little calf.
It was like soup.
Little soup, little pea soup. But I thought that's what I noticed. I thought about you when I was watching this episode, like I always do. I I had the question of what are they building on Aldani. We talked about that. I like that finding out Taramyn was a stormtrooper. I thought that was a cool thing. Fake Bryan Cranston is the Donnie leader. Absolutely, without a doubt. A line that I thought was really funny was when J-Hold is talking to his family and he's going, "Where's your blouse?" And the son's like, "I'm not wearing that." And he goes, "You will do what you're told." And the mom's like, "I think he has a fever." And the dad's like, "He's fine." And he's like, "No, he's sick." And then he goes, "He's always ill." And I, as a dad, I thought that was so funny because he's so fed up with this kid. And he's like, "He's always ill. What are we going to do with him? I don't understand. This is crazy." I just thought that was really funny. Mike, no, I've got a list of noticements, but a lot of that is the heist killing. So I'll pass it. I'll pass the baton to you there, Mikey.
I only have a few things, and one of them is I noticed me being an idiot. I'll start off with that one, a little self-deprecation. So the entire time that I'm thinking that we're stealing the payroll, I don't know why I thought this. I thought it was they were stealing like TPS reports of what officers make. I didn't realize they were just stealing 80 million credits.
An honest mistake from an honest man.
Yeah, so I am an idiot. So I noticed that.
Why are there so many credits in this episode?
Guys, how many boxes of TPS reports are you going to be packing?
Oh my God, that is so funny.
And why is it so important to know what these officers make?
Yes, it's ridiculous. What are we comparing them on Indeed.com?
What's this, Glassdoor?
Glassdoor, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm cracking myself up.
There was one scene that made me chuckle when Kimsey finally figures out what's going on and he's running to the vault.
Yeah.
He grabs a couple of his guys and one dude's just like, "We'll miss the eye."
I heard that too. That also cracked me up. Oh my God, but we're going to miss the eye. Yes, correct.
Yeah, you're going to miss that eye.
Oh my gosh, that's actually hilarious. I love that.
Because I only have a few, I'll do the last two. The next one was all of my death predictions were correct.
Absolutely.
Just wanted to point that out again.
Mark it. It's the 5306 mark of that prediction.
So here's something that I noticed.
Mm-hmm.
So this didn't have anything to do with the show, but more about online. I noticed there wasn't a lot of hate for an implied lesbian relationship between two very attractive women.
Interesting. No lies detected there.
And like, it is absolutely implied that Cinta and Vel are a thing, and I didn't see one damn thing about it online about how there is a most likely lesbian relationship between two very attractive women.
Very good.
Everybody's cool with that, but like, people have the theory that Poe and Finn have a relationship and the entire world crumbles.
Yeah.
Well, everyone got mad about that kiss in Rise of Skywalker too.
Yes.
There were other things to be mad about in that movie, and that's not one of them.
It's not one of them.
Not one of them, for sure. No, thank you for bringing that up. Anything else there, Mikey?
No, I'm good.
All right, thank you. Damies, go ahead.
All right. So yeah, I mentioned earlier, little callback with, Cassian shot first, unlike Han. Tamarin being the first stormtrooper to defect, which was cool. And that obviously, we had Finn and then I can't remember her name from Rise of Skywalker.
Ray.
But I mean, there was multiple, but like the fact that he was the first, I don't know why I can't remember her name.
No, her name is
Palpatine.
No, stop it.
Ben Solo.
She shoots the bow. I just watched this over the weekend. Why don't I remember her name?
I don't know. I can't. I'm like drawing a complete blank right now.
Very
Mads.
black curly hair.
Yeah.
Rides a horse.
Yes.
That's okay.
So,
We
I
know
mean,
what we're talking about.
I thought
Jana.
that was.
Thank you,
I-
Megan. Jana.
Jana. Yes. Jannah or yes.
Correct.
Sweet. Okay. And then like for me also, I'm a big Empire Strikes Back fan. I feel like that's probably up there for my top if I had top 3. Did you guys notice in when Luthen goes to kind of like quietly celebrate in like his back room?
Yeah.
There were like carbonite slab holders back there.
No.
If you look in the back, they had like kind of like the buttons and everything. It was weird looking, but I watched it twice, and that was what I took away from it. Because every time we go into like Luthen's little collector shop, I'm looking for some kind of Easter egg there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, I think his shop's going to change over the show, so I think that's going to be a nice key. Your audio has died, Damien. Just to let you know. You're back now.
Oh, that was weird.
That was weird. So you said carbonite and tchotchkes and stuff, and then your audio died.
And that was it. I only had a couple for Sode.
Right. Good stuff. Some of our chatters have noticed that, and I don't want you to turn your camera off, but you are lip
freezing
desyncing again. That's okay.
Yep.
We're going to blame the Empire. The Empire has new directives, and they do not want us talking about this show.
Or just a 6-year-old MacBook.
I do believe that you're putting it under its paces. So, going along with some more notisements, I noticed that obviously some of the troopers that have the helmet with the goggles are very reminiscent to the Mud Troopers in Solo. That's probably a standard sort of helmet, so that's fine. At the airbase, blink and you miss it, beyond the TIE fighters is a Lambda-class shuttle. Right? Lambda-class shuttle right on the bottom, which is fun. One thing that I'm really loving about this show is Imperials not being so stuck up. And what I mean by that is they're like sitting down like a normal human being until they hear the door, and then they get up because there's somebody coming in, or they're gambling, or they're doing stuff, or what you said, Mike, but we're going to miss the eye. Like they're human, man. Like they're just being normal people, and they're just like us. They want to be on their cell phone when the boss isn't watching, and then they will do their duty. Kimsey was a good example of this. Hey, man, it gets stuffy in that communications room. I was just trying to get some air. I kind of love everything about that. And then, of course, like the ISB is like a no-nonsense sort of empire. That's like what we visualize is that's what they are all the time. But in reality, it's not. You know, there's too many of them to be perfect. And I love that we have these little cracks in the foundation of Imperial identity. So that was one thing that I noticed in there. The sounds of the comets are amazing. I thought they were really cool. The sounds of the comets are really, really cool. And then I nerded out a little bit, and I was paying attention to, and this is my final one, I was paying attention to Mon Mothma and her talking. And you probably, it's again, like there's too much distraction going on, but she mentions the Gormans. Right. So I dug down into Wikipedia. And the Gorman was a planet located in the galaxy's colonies region along the Rimma trade route in 5 BBY. The Galactic Empire, with individuals such as Arsenanger and Slimore, cut off Gorman's shipping lanes. So I think that's what she's talking about during that quick Senate scene. And there's not much else in that Wikipedia article. So that was lovely, lovely, lovely. Any final notices before we push along? I think we're behind in time, so we're going to do a little hustle.
All good. No, I'm good.
Good. All right, let's finish off with our 1-sentence summary of this episode. Wow. That takes I forgot about that. I'm like, why is it so silent? Nope, it's not silent at all.
Nope.
There's a kazoo. Okay, dokie. And I want to say thank you so much for those who are chatting. I'm acknowledging your chats. I appreciate you. The camera work on the comments. Can I please get a painting of that? Says Megan. Scarif Scuttlebutt said there's lots of Raiders Eater eggs, which I believe he meant Easter eggs, but I'm going to call you out on that. So your fat fingers on your phone didn't work on that. And when she's talking to the other senator from Chandra-La, greatest scene ever, beautiful writing. We're going to get to that in episode 7, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for being here. 1 hour into the stream. We appreciate you being here. We're going to keep it going with our one-sentence summary. Here I go. The heist delivers the Empire its first blow, but at what cost?
Ooh.
Multiple layers to cost.
Uh-huh.
Sure. Dames, I'll throw it to you.
So I'm going to paraphrase Leia from her speech with Tarkin back in episode 4. So this is kind of a direct correlation to the heist and like the shockwaves it sends through the Empire. The more you tighten your grip, the more things will slip through your fingers.
I love that. Oh man, you're having so many issues with your mic camera setup tonight, buddy. I'm so sorry.
Let me see. If I turn off my camera, will it do anything? Press V. Does that help my audio at all?
Well, we hear you, and that's good.
Now it's just a giant D on the screen.
You think so?
You just look angry.
Oh, I'm back. That's weird. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. Let's see.
All right. So you said you paraphrased the tightening of the grip, the more systems will slip through your fingers.
Yes. Just kind of turn those wheels and, leading into Rogue One and just, the momentum shift.
For sure. Exactly. All right, Mikey, what you got?
Just like the Aldhani garrison, we were robbed of Nemec.
I don't have a sounder for that.
You're like,
I was looking for I was looking for a sad sounder, and I'm thinking I don't have a sad sounder.
Where's
Bantha Diddle?
No, it's not that one.
It's definitely not that one.
It's not. It is not Bantha Diddle, but I played it anyways. That's hilarious. All right, thank you for your one sentence summary. We're going to skip predictions because we know what happens in the next episode. I did have one question though. What happened to Cinta? Where'd you go? But anyways, let's get to our comedic relief of the episode, and that is actually not the whole show, but it's just a small portion of it.
My punny Andor names are like they're getting slim. I'm like stretching now.
Stretching?
Oh yeah, I'm stretching. I had to throw in his last name a few times.
Okay.
So this week, my OnlyFans is Like It From Behaz.
Like It From Behaz. I like that. Well, I don't like that, but physically I don't like it, but mentally I like your creativity on
physically
that.
Not a fan. Emotionally, still not a fan.
Still not a fan, but I'm around it. Bets, we love you too. I hope you're referring to us from the chat. Okie dokie, smoky folks. So here's what we're doing. We're doing a quick turnaround into episode 7. We're about an hour and 4 minutes in. And guess what? This show is part of the Red 5 Network.
This podcast is part of the Red 5 Network. For more Red 5 Network podcasts, visit red5network.com.
Welcome to the second part of the show. Still the first part of the show. Did you get a beer?
Of course I got a beer.
Good job. Well done. No one would never know. And we have one special announcement to make. For those of you who don't know, you're hearing it for the first time, either through audio or through video. But I've been a little busy lately because my family is expecting another baby. Yeah. And not only, thank you, and not only that, it's a boy. And life is so great to give me the boy and I feel bad for all other boys in my family because I am the last of my name, protector of the realm, first. I don't know anything else, but it's a very exciting time for our family. But it's been a very, very difficult past few weeks managing the house with the pregnant wife, and she's had a very tough trimester. So I've been sort of, away from the content creation, like dipping a toe in and then looking at a text message saying, I need a cup of water. And I'm like, it's not even worth to get into projects at this time. So we've been super busy. We're obviously committed to the extra Star Wars show. She gets that, and she's definitely getting much better now, entering the second trimester of her pregnancy. And we're very excited to welcome the baby boy. And we're naming him Cassian. That's not true. We're not doing that at all, but that would be fun. So we're very excited about that. So thank you. I shared it with you first. So you got in here on the live show. You heard it first. And for the rest of you who didn't listen to it live, you're just okay. You're just okay. I appreciate the replay. So thank you. Send me a DM. Shout me out on a story. I would love to hear it. We got some good footage of the gender reveal as well. I know a lot of people don't agree with the gender reveal. Oh, we had a doozy. We had a doozy with a bunch of powder poppers and stuff like that, and no one knew how to shoot them. They were going in all sorts of directions. I had stuff in my ears and stuff like that. It was amazing. We will be live streaming from the hospital, the birth. It'll be just like the finale of House of Dragon. If you watched it, you know what I'm talking about. If you didn't watch it, Lord, don't even worry about it. Just ignore that comment. So it's going to be good stuff. So thank you, everybody, for that. But we're going to move on to episode 7 of Andor. So let's get started. Hey, we are back, and welcome to episode 7 of Andor. Damien stepped away. He will be back in just a short moment or two. So episode 7 is called The Announcement, and we were talking about, I think in episode 5, Mike, we were talking about, like, you were sort of worried about predictive episodes and the 4-5 with a 6 and the 1-2 and the 3. And now we've gotten to the 7, right? We've gotten to the 7th one. And I would say that it's not as predictive as we maybe thought it was. And we sort of have a nice bridging of information. Mm-hmm. And episode 7 seems to be a transitioning episode where not much time has passed since the heist.
There's a lot happening on a lot of different planets.
So I'm glad you mentioned that, because on my third watch of this episode, I had a very specific goal, and my goal was to write down scene changes. I wanted to know exactly who is talking at like what times in the exact order of the episode. Some may call that an episode recap, because it is. But I called it episode order because that's what it is. And I think that's an important part of the detail of this episode. So before we get into it, and it does seem like a standalone episode, Megan, I would agree with you with that, because I think it all depends on how episode 8 shakes out, to be honest with you, see where we get to. We'll get to that in predictions. But
I think that I told you last week that 7 was going to be a standalone.
I don't remember any of that. My wife is pregnant. I'm allowed to forget things.
That's fair, because I read something. I think the showrunner put it out there that 7 is a standalone, then 8 and 9 go together. Okay. And then 10, 11, 12 go together, I believe.
It makes sense. I mean, just based off of what we're seeing in 7, that kind of makes sense to me, and how 8 or 7 leaves off. Mm-hmm. All right, so as I like to do, here are the characters that have a speaking role in this episode. Everybody's favorite mom, Edie, gives us such great content every single time, which means we have Cyril eating cereal once again. man, they're really digging deep into that trope, and that's fine. His brown suit is lovely with his high collar. Very excited to introduce live action Yularen. Well, not the first time live action, but Andor Yularen into this show. And I have a link to a Wikipedia article. There's a lot on Yularen, I'm sure. Did you do your due diligence on Yularen? Do you know who Yularen is, gents?
No, he's Death Star.
He's one of the guys around the round table for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He also showed up a lot in Clone Wars. He was part of the Republic, then moved into the Empire, and then worked, closely-ish with Thrawn. So he's in it to win it, for what he is. And he's scary as hell in that scene, and I loved it. Loved every bit of it. We'll get to it. We've got Deidre, we've got Hurt, a Luthen, named now, Clea, right? Named. I caught it on the closed captioning. We've got Mon, we've got Vel, Andor, Marva, Tacoma, Bix, Partagaz, and Blevin. I think that's all our speaking roles for this particular episode. So that's, again, we are juggling a lot of characters, but I think they're doing a really great job at not confusing us with jumping, leaving something open and getting to it later, so to speak. So we'll go through the episode order in just a second as we get to our overall impressions. Overall impressions.
I do miss that.
Throwback. I'll
Overall impression.
I'll sing him back. I'll sing it back. Okay. My overall impressions. All I wrote was talk about a chain reaction. That's it. That's all I wrote. Talk about a chain reaction. To harp on what we talked about, Dames, between results and what did I put down? Results and payoff. Boy, howdy. This was a problem.
Yep.
And I loved seeing, again, nobody's shrugging this off. We're seeing the full reaction to the Aldhani heist. And I love this episode a lot. Dames, what do you think?
Yeah, for this one, for me, for every action, there's a consequence. And kind of going back to this is really the first time there's been some kind of shockwaves through the Empire that really kind of freaked them out a little bit. So they're just really tightening the ship right now. All hands on deck. They're going to figure this out. And that just spells bad news for Cassian and anyone that, tries to cross them at this point.
Yeah, for sure. And there's lots of layers to the ramifications of the Aldhani heist that we will extrapolate in just a moment. Mike, your overall impression.
The one thing I already said was that, a lot is happening on a lot of different planets and places. And the Empire is super pissed.
So, they're so butthurt right now. They're so mad.
The Empire right now is that one person that's ruining it for the entire classroom. That's how they're treating it. Oh, this group of 7 people want to rob us. Well, you know what? We're raising taxes, so we raise 5 times the amount of that. Everything is now a class 1 offense.
Yeah, no. You're right. It's again, when you look at the episode order, and I'll get into that. It starts with Cyril and Edie and the Bureau of Standards. It then goes into ISB and the big speech. Then Luthen and Mon have a conversation. And then we shoot back to Cyril and the Bureau of Standards, I think the interview. It then goes to Clea walking. ISB now looking for data with Deidre. Cinta on Aldhani. with a big Star Destroyer. Then Clea and Vel chat. Cinta on a speeder. Andor on Ferrix talking to Marva. Mon and Tay conversation. Andor and Bix conversation with a little bit of flashbacks, and then Marva, and then the ISB meeting at the end, and then Andor on spring break. Back to Cyril on the bullpen. So what a crazy amount of stuff that is happening in this episode. It was a lot to take in, and we're going to help you understand it less because there's no way we can do it better than the previous shows before us. But we're going to try. We're going to try. You ready to try, everybody?
Let's do it.
The old college try.
Top threes. Here we go. All right, we're back with our top threes, and we're going to name some random words about these top threes. If you have them, and if you don't have them, that's okay. Here we go. My first one, it's technically a phrase, but I like it. Big Mad, Besties, and Resolve. Mike?
Bangers. And onion.
Pretty sure that's an English meal.
That's mash.
Oh,
Bangers
right.
There's definitely an onion somewhere in there.
It's probably in the bangers.
James, you got anything for us, bud?
Yeah. Heartbreak.
Ooh.
And trying to think of how to, because Mike's is kind of lasagna.
You could have went parfait.
Wow. I thought Heartbreak and Onion were going to connect because they both make you cry, but now I'm thinking you're talking about layers. That's great. That's great. Okay.
Layers.
I'll start. I had four. Again, I had four, but I'll pick three. The first one, what do I want to do? You know what? We'll go here. Besties. We're going to start with besties. I really, really, really hung on to every single word and interaction and conversation between Mon and Tay Coleman. And the whole, I didn't know if I could trust you, but now I know I can. I only have told 3 people in the whole galaxy. Gotcha. Mary Poppins vibes. It just screams from Mon Mothma all the time for me. I can't get away from it. She flies around in an umbrella. I'd be down. But that entire conversation from start to finish and the random smile is just so good. It is so deceptive. I love the Palpatine drop. You know I love a Palpatine name drop. Loved it in the trailer. Hated the execution in 9. That's fine. But I love anytime we get a Palpatine sighting. Did we get Palpatine in Kenobi? We did. And that was very exciting. I was super duper pumped for the Palpatine in the Kenobes. And I love the Palpatine drops. Like, he's a normal person. He's not. We all know he's not. But, like, he's kind of normal for them. And Mon Mothma's like, yeah, I've learned from him. You see, outside, don't make any sense. Inside, though, completely different person. And I love how she threw the line back at him that was like, you might find my, I forget the word. You might find my sense of politics a little too strong for your taste or something like that. I forget the exact term. But I really just thought that was a really, really wonderful set. For a second, I didn't, until the name was said, I thought that this was the same person that got voted for no confidence before Palpatine. I thought they were like the same person until the name was dropped. But I thought that would have been cool too. But I thought that conversation was really, really neat. And they're like super duper besties. And it seems like he's on board with the plan here, even though he doesn't know anything. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Very mysterious.
Yeah, what was that line at the end? It's like, I don't know what's happening, and like you won't know, kind of the thing. What was the line they said at the very end, right before Perrin showed up? It was.
I'd have to think about
it.
it.
It was something along the lines of he said, like he asked her what she was planning.
Yeah.
And she was like, like something along the lines of like you don't need to know, or like you'll never know.
Like you don't need to know. You don't need to know what I know. Just know that it's helping or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I do like how she said, Perrin knows nothing. Don't trust him. I don't. Thanks. And then he brings up like a high school reunion, and she's like, "Oh my god, aghast," which is great. All right, that's for me. That's the besties for me. So now let's throw it to Damien. What do you want to do? You want to do Heartbreak or Lasagna?
I'm gonna go with Heartbreak first.
Okay.
I just love Marva anytime she's on the screen, and the whole exchange where he's like, "Let's go. We have enough money. We can go anywhere we want." And she's like, "We can't. Like, I have to stay here. I don't want to leave." And then he's like, "Well, I'm just gonna worry about you." And then she's like, "Well, that's what love is." And it was just like,
great line.
Oh, she's been so good. I just, and then poor B2 is just chilling there, like, I'm ready to go. I would go.
Yeah.
Heartbreak for me with that, like that whole exchange between the two of them. They have such great chemistry on screen, and just the whole "that's what love is" line got me. That was it.
Yeah, to piggyback on that, I love that scene as well, but I do also love that she was like, listen, they can put up as many barracks as they want, they'll never get to me.
Yep.
You know, and I'm here for the rebellion. For the first time in years, I was able to walk through that square because I can finally see that something's about to go down. And it doesn't matter where you where you go at this point. It's everywhere, but we can do something about it right here. So that just tells me that I think Andor will make his way back to Ferrix at some point. Obviously, Marva's going to die.
Yeah.
That's going to push him over the edge to finally join the cause. You know.
Probably Bix, too.
Yeah. He may lose everybody. You know, and that's where he really gets his cynicism. You know, I've been in this fight for blah, 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 6 years old. You know, if I got to kill somebody, I got to do whatever it takes to prevent innocent lives from dying. You know, so I mean, that all makes sense to me, you know, especially with those lines. They were very powerful, very real, very powerful lines, very non-Star Wars-y dialogue, which I loved, you know, not cookie cutter stuff. It's going to be unbelievable. Rose agreeing. I think he will lose everyone. Dragon Buddy, he is going to lose everyone. And it's been good stuff. You know, it's just been good stuff so far. So thank you, Damien, for bringing that up. So I've connected our resolve with heartbreak. Mike, good. Yeah, Mike,
to lose one person and or everyone.
Oh, wait, that's the wrong one. Sorry. No, that was the right one.
So
no word is wasted in this writing. So good. Agreed.
Great dialogue. Yep.
Mike, to you.
So
bangers or onion?
I'll go to onion / lasagna / parfait / cake. The many layers of Cass and this emotional roller coaster that he is on throughout this entire episode. I kind of counted it as like 2. That's why I like this entire thing that about Cass's emotional roller coaster and his layers. I counted as 2 of like my top 3.
Yeah.
So he returned. And I think the more I think about it, the more like tragic his life actually is.
Yeah.
He's excited. He got his cut. He has this huge payday now.
Yep.
He's going back to Marva. He's to Ferrix, thinking that Marva, B2 Emo, and possibly Bix coming with him, and they could go anywhere, and nobody's going to chase him anymore. Then he has, and you could tell when he leaves Marva the first time to go see Bix, and he's like, we'll leave first thing in the morning, and she's like, we'll do that. Like you knew she was lying to him, and he didn't know. He goes to Bix, and they have a very, very angry conversation that ends with, you need to tell your friend to forget about me. You need to forget about me too. And she's like, I've forgotten you before.
Big line.
And like, he ends it with like, it was just like she tells him to be careful, and you could hear the heartbreak in his voice when he says, you too.
Yeah.
Climbing over that fence, just trying to reminisce with her about like, remember the first time with your dad? I think that's what your dad said to me the first time I climbed over the fence.
Yeah.
Then the stormtrooper comes, and he has that flashback of Clem in the square, which you later, like, I thought it was just going to be firing squad. You later find out he was hung in that square.
Yeah. Yeah, unbelievable.
Then ending with that's just love when Marva tells him that she's staying, and then drops, haven't heard about her since literally the first line of the series, forget about your sister. Then he goes on a bender on spring break. It was just such, and the crazy thing is, I don't think there was a lot of cast screen time in this episode.
No.
But it was, even in the episode before, there wasn't a lot of cast screen time. Mm-hmm. But it was like in episode 6, he was not the main character.
Right.
And it's his show.
No, yeah, no, this is really good stuff. I couldn't agree with you more. I think the world building, the character building just sort of creates such a great follow-up to Rogue One. Hey, let me pause real quick in the chat and acknowledge a couple things. Welcome in to Nicole, Luna Girl, DB, Shanty. And first off, Nicole, thank you so much. I appreciate you. As we mentioned before at the beginning of the show, Tavern for Tom, that is the GoFundMe sort of initiative that will be happening this weekend, 24-hour live stream, now 25 hours, trying to push that fundraiser to the top. Tom lost a lot of possessions, his home, but no bodily harm or people lost, which is the most important part of that sentence. So thank you, Nicole, for congratulating me on the newest addition to the family, baby boy, coming soon. The other thing I have to mention is this tragedy of a comment from Luna Girl, which is the Go Yankees thing. Now, let's just do a little compare and contrast. So the Yankees are like the book of Boba Fett. They struck out every episode and still lost everything. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here. Scarif After Dark gets it. Go Phillies, NL champs. We love it. We love it. She's a lost cause, DB. I'm so sorry to hear that. It is what it is.
The Yankees are spending the offseason in the back to tank.
The Yankees need about 14 back to tanks. The baby will absolutely need a baby bandana to match the gaming streams for sure. It's a lot to take in for sure. So thank you for being here. Hey, as we move on with our top threes, can I say bangers? Can you go with bangers for me?
I can go with bangers.
All right.
It's going to be short. The music. We keep talking about it. When he was on what island? The planet was it? Neamos?
Yeah.
Neamos?
Space Cancun.
Yeah. Him just like walking in that island Star Wars music. It was great. I was vibing. I was like, yeah.
I put out a tweet that was like, the music in Andor is good. And then people were like, nah. And I was like, you know what, to get out of here, take a lap. Like, I don't understand. What do you need, like, John Williams to write every single piece of, like, musical thing? It's good stuff for the show, and it's not distracting, and it works for the vibe, and I'm all in to the vibe.
Yeah. Yep. From Jump, from the first episode where they had, like, you went into a canteen, well, it's a brothel, and it wasn't, like, Max like do 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 do. No,
Yeah.
it was a techno music.
Yeah.
It was great.
I will get to my bottom soon, but we're gonna come back to Space Cancun in just a moment. Dame, did we talk about lasagna with you?
So we didn't.
Okay.
But it was a two-parter. It was Cassian, which Mike went into amazing detail with, and also Mon was very layered as well. Like, playing both sides of the fence, like watching her moves and being very calculated about it. And for me, I like that a lot because, you know, like we only really get her in the original trilogy, like just giving a motivational speech and giving the rundown. But here she's like, you know, you're one of 3 people that know about this, and she's being very calculated. And the whole like, you know, really like we always think rebels are just like they're the greatest people in the world because they're good guys and they're fighting the Empire. But like you said about the Empire, they're just normal people. Like everyone has their agenda. And I love when she just looks and she's like, smile.
Oh, it's so good.
So good.
It is so good. Yes, no, there's listen, I could even go with as Dames, you've muted again, so I'm just going to fill the airspace. I can even go into Cyril, who also has a bunch of layers. There's something cooking there in Cyril land, and I'm here for it, and I can't wait. Dame, back to you.
Yeah. So Mon lasagna. That was basically it. No.
No.
What you should have did.
Not it.
The lasagna should have just been calamari, and then you could have said Mon calamari, which is fine. There's no problem. Or you should have said Bob Marley, Mon. Anyway, speaking of diversity and Donnie. Oh no, that's the last episode. I apologize.
Last episode.
So my final top is, and which is interesting because none of you really mentioned it. It's the Big Mad. It's Yularen at the beginning. It's Yularen shutting the ish down. These are the rules. We're putting in emergency declarations. We, as the ISB, can find out anything that we need to find out. No more red tape. This is the way it is. Deidre's like, oh, hell yeah. I'm going to use this to my advantage for sure. And just like the whole idea, like you were saying, Mike, of like, we're going to tax this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Oh, you don't want to do what we said? We're going to not protect you. Okay, and in fact, we're just going to take over. I mean, this is the beginning of the end of the Empire. This is Yularen directives. I spoke with Emperor Palpatine last night on the phone. Yularen, what are you talking about? Like, when did, like, in his office?
He snapped me.
Yeah, that's it.
It was a Teams call.
It was a Microsoft Teams call between Palpatine and Yularen. Is my mic on? I don't know. But it's just so interesting to see that. You know, one interesting tidbit about the EU, in the final book of the heir to the trilogy of the Empire with Thrawn, apparently Palpatine had these secret passageways in Coruscant's buildings that he could just access and scoot on through to get to places.
What's he, JFK?
Apparently. And then I'm like, that's really cool detail in that book. And I'm starting to think like, he's probably doing that now with Andor, like scooting between these different little secret passageways and stuff. I thought that was really interesting. But Yularen, again, just between moving from the Republic, working directly with Anakin Skywalker, to the Death Star, working with Vader. You know, does he know he's the same person? Doesn't matter. But he's he's a non-character that is now kind of important to the total storyline. And obviously we know what happens on the Death Star. He dies, but I want to see more of him. I hope we see a little bit more of him, but I know he was very popular in the Clone Wars, as they would say. So, yeah, Yularen, big man. And that's opening a lot of doors. And from what I'm understanding, this is exactly what they want, the Rebels. It's exactly what they want. They want them to have these little miniature meltdowns. It's lovely. Final thoughts on our tops, friends.
I'm just thinking of Palpatine on a Zoom call, like, share your screen. Do it.
I was thinking about him taking the secret passageways to just to the cafeteria and then back to his quarters.
Hi, I'm Matt. I'm a radar technician.
He's grabbing like a Sith
That's
Jello
one of the
or
most classic
something.
Saturday Night Lives ever.
That's a great skit.
The Kylo Ren undercover boss is unbelievable. And I think one of these days we're going to have to review that skit.
I just saw Kylo Ren in the shower and he's totally jacked.
Let's move on to our list of grievances. Yeah. All right. I did give my wife space margaritas in July. Correct.
It's what he calls his.
I tell you. That night lasted as long as most Star Wars movie announcements. Yes.
Lasted about as long as Rogue Squadron.
Yes. Still waiting on that Rian Johnson trilogy. Yeah. Speaking of Rian Johnson, he was on WMMR the other day promoting
Glass Onion?
Glass Onion, and he spoke to that it is not off the table, that it is just a scheduling thing right now. Stay tuned for that. I know we have a lot of Rian Johnson fans in the chat right now, so let's see your Rian Johnson fan art. I bet you it'll be just emoji middle fingers coming out into chat in just a moment.
The poop emoji.
There it is. First off, my first word for our bottoms is going to be penguin. And dog treats.
All
right. Dames, do you have any wordies?
I got one here. Yawn.
Ooh.
And Mike?
I also have one. Smorgasbord.
I can't spell that. German food.
A robust spread of German
variety of
delicacies.
German food.
Is it German or is it Danish?
Oh, I don't know. Let's not get into that. You know,
Hold
I'm not
on.
good with.
You're
I'm
not
not good with diversity.
diversity.
Knives Out. Will it make the wee list? Does for me.
Oh, I'm absolutely going to watch it.
You've never seen Knives Out?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I said Glass Onion.
Oh, Glass Onion.
I'm
Understood.
absolutely going to watch
Glass
it.
Onion, yeah. Oh, yeah. I gotta
we
watch
were both wrong. Smorgasbord is Swedish.
That's exactly what I said. It's just a part of Sweden. All right. Well, you have two, so I have one. So let me start off with dog treats. I can't, for the life of me, get through the scene of it's the Greenies. It's the Revnog. Windy, you gotta go, and you gotta go fast. I've got no time for Greenies. It's dog treats because Greenies are dental dog treats.
That is true.
They're called Greenies. Thank you for confirming. I appreciate that. Revnog, Greenies, get her out. So then my only question about it is, like, how long has Andor been there that he has, like, a shopping list to get?
That's just one night.
Is it? Like, how long he's been there? I don't know.
Like the Greenies, is that like MDMA? Like what is happening here?
Oh, it's Greenies. They have the snacky. Are Greenies just snackies?
Ooh.
The green ones.
We know Revnog is alcohol.
Right.
So are Greenies drugs?
I hope so. But she was totally naked.
She was absolutely naked.
In the bed.
In the Betty.
The Betty for sure. But Windy, if I never have to hear your voice again, that'd be great. Thank you very much. Let's move on to Yawn.
So so it's a play on Karn, which is the last name for Cyril. And he's back in the episode, and when he first came in, I was like, oh, this guy's gonna be like the big bad, like Andor's, like, big enemy for the entire series. But I just don't really know, like, aside from him helping him at this point, like, what's the point? Because he's just he's being like a paper pusher at this point. He's not really, he kind of fell out of graces with the Empire. So I just kind of don't really like his arc throughout this show, but that can change because we still have a couple more episodes. But right now, he's just kind of he's a yawn for me.
Hold on one second. Who is the yawn?
Cyril?
Cyril. Apologies. Okay. I
All
thought
good.
I thought you did Cyril. Cyril. I thought you said Cyril. And then I was like, is he part of the Empire?
Are you Cyril right now?
But anyways, but yeah, no, I think his story intrigues me, not to go against your bottom, but I totally get it. Nothing's really going on. He's been eating cereal and hanging out with Mama Edie, who we think is half Italian and half Jewish.
Yeah, she's a good combo of both.
And
Now her I love. She's fun.
she's great. What's interesting about Cyril, and then let me just add into the lasagna part of it. He's wearing the brown suit, but here's how I look at it. Edie's like, why are you wearing that? The Bureau of Standards doesn't care about your style. Like she says something along those lines, right? Cyril is literally rebelling against his mother. He's rebelling against all the little things that she makes him do. Cyril then, like explains like, oh yeah, no, on Morlana 1, I was trying to stop a murderer. Like, sorry, I don't know you. I don't need to know your past. But he's so like gung-ho about telling this person that he wants to clear his name. Fuel purity. Something's going to happen. He's going to fudge some numbers for the rebels in the future. I'm thinking something's going down. Something's going down with him.
Didn't the interviewer
that's my predictions.
Yeah. Sorry.
There has to be some kind of twist for him where he just realizes like, you know what? I've been doing all this for nothing. Like, screw it. Let's try some of the other cereal and see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. Indeed.
Didn't the interviewer like, we're just going to erase all this that you wrote? Didn't he say something along those lines when he was
he's like, you know what? No one really needs to know that. We're going to edit this down a little bit. And I think Cyril hates that because that's what his supervisor was trying to do. Edit it down a little bit so no one really knows that 2 guys got killed. Hates that. Good night. Shanty, Scarab After Dark. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. So that's interesting. So yeah, maybe more to come in Cyril Land for you, Dames. Maybe he'll have a redemption arc for you for sure.
Little Magic Spoon. Maybe they can sponsor the show.
Exactly. Mike, to you.
Onyx Sorghum. Smorgasbord. So this not necessarily a bottom, but it's a worry.
Worry.
I had this. It's the same worry from a while ago. Is too much going on?
There's a lot going on.
There's the rebellion on Ferrix that is going to be started, apparently, with Marva. There's the ISB, like, quarrels and infighting now between Blevin and Dedra. There's Vel possibly going after Cass now. There's Mon Mothma and Oliver plotting. So we're known for Cass getting arrested and for 6 years.
Crazy.
Cyril revenge tour. And whatever's happening with Luthen now that Kayla's essentially going behind his back.
This is playing out like a Game of Thrones saga right now.
It really is.
There's a lot of individual stories that we're hoping toward the end that we get this mix and this merge, right? Of all those stories coming together, which is going to make this a very satisfying show.
And we haven't even seen Saul yet, and we know he's confirmed in the series.
We haven't seen Saul yet?
Correct.
Speaking of Saul.
Seen Saul.
The original Saw actor is coming back to the Saw horror series.
I saw that.
Is it on the Wii? Hell yeah, it is.
No.
Oh yeah, they're terrible movies to watch. I'm gonna watch them anyway.
See, Saw's a little played out.
It is, but I have good memories from college from that because we would always go every year since they were yearly things.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Terrible movies. There's a lot going on. I hope it does resolve itself. And despite being a lot going on, I'm not having trouble following what's happening though.
Same.
Interesting. All right. My final one is Penguin. And I can't stand how Clea walks the entire time. The first time I watched it, I went, I don't really like the cadence of her walk right now. And then there was these scenes of lingering where like we're watching a person walk, and I get it. We're world building, beautiful sets, beautiful real world sets in a real cityscape, lovely stuff. There's too much walking for me. I'm out on that. Clea, get to where you need to go. Do it faster. Thank you very much.
At first, I didn't realize that was Clea.
I didn't know who it was. I had no idea who it was.
I just put red cloak lady.
I couldn't tell you who it was first off the bat. There was a lot of people on Twitter that didn't recognize Vel because she was done up in makeups.
That was one of my noticements. Vel
somebody
up nice.
Yeah, yes. And then somebody, I forget, I believe somebody in Red 5, I think it was Roe, that said, but which one is the disguise? Is it Gorilla Val or is it Done Up Val? I don't know. Great question. I forget. Somebody said that if I spoke out of turn, I don't care. Yeah, so that is that is the bottoms of the show. Anybody else have any bottoms? I don't think so. I think we caught everybody at that point.
Nope, I'm good.
Good. Not a lot of bottoms. Hey, we're going to move on to our noticeabouts for our I love how long this show is by necessity, unfortunately. We're here. We've noticed some things. We've already talked to some things. I've got a lot of things about that. Some lines that I noticed. Edie, I tried to make you understand that. You've resisted. She just told everybody that Cyril has been resisting certain things. He's a rebel, baby. Get ready. He's coming to the good side. Luthen, we can't hide forever. Nope, can't hide forever. Love that. I have a wedding this Saturday, and I need to know how to make my tie float. Like the Bureau of Standards sort of guy, that it's like, it's not up to his neck. It's sort of just down a little bit. I'm all for it. How can we make that happen?
Like Avril Lavigne.
Yeah, what?
Not Avril. Why couldn't... wait, what was her last name? Avril. Why can't they? Complicated. Why did
Avril Lavigne.
No, yeah. You're right, Avril Lavigne.
She always wore a tie down here.
But like around the neck, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just got like a clip.
Oh, yeah.
Right? He's just got like a little clippy, and it just sits down. And I really like that style, and I think we got to figure out how to make that happen.
Dude,
it's a wonderful thing.
I got it right now. You get a clip-on tie.
Yeah.
You take the clip off the back, and you put a tie clip on, and it goes sideways instead of through here. Boom.
I don't know.
$1 million.
Why aren't you should patent that immediately? The visuals in real world locations matter, baby. It is so good. Every little piece about the locations is awesome. The final thing I'll say before I spin it off to Damien. Deidre asks for data, and if you go beyond the Imperial guy who was sitting again, Imperial laxity is lovely. Behind everybody is like the same sort of data center that is on Scarif Tower with all the hard drives in the background and stuff like that. I thought that was really, really lovely. Dames, any notices for you, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of piggybacking off of you, the wardrobe and costuming in this show is just so good. Like you have some vibrant stuff, then you have like just really intricate stuff, then you have stuff that looks modern, like maybe something we would wear, and it just looks good. I really like everything like that. Obviously, we keep talking about how good the set pieces are and the actual locations, not just standing in front of a green screen for everything. And it makes a lot of difference. I think the actors feed off of that too when they have those real life sets. Then one thing I did notice too, is this the first Andor episode with stormtroopers in it?
Yes.
Okay. Because I've been like waiting for them for a while, and obviously like we've seen like various other like commanders and then the shore troopers, but Yeah, I was like, wait a second, have we seen stormtroopers yet? And I couldn't think about it, so I was racking my brain. I wanted to ask you
I
guys.
thought
I didn't know if we
there were
did.
stormtroopers just in last episode in the streets of Ferrix,
I'll have to double.
because that's when he has his little flashy backies. It was just two of them.
Okay.
Just two of them walking.
That was this episode.
Was it this episode?
That's right. Wait, yeah.
Hold on. Let me go back to the bottoms. There's too
Judges.
much. There's too much going on.
Judges,
You're right.
it's episode 7.
It is episode 7. No, you're absolutely right. I totally thought that was the last episode because we've been talking for an hour 50. This is hard.
I'll figure out. Someone on Twitter probably knows for sure, but I was like, yeah, like where?
No, that's a
have the
good point.
stormtroopers
I'm trying to think. They weren't. So it was the Corpos. I think I'm getting confused by the Corpos. I'm thinking the Corpos are stormtroopers. We saw them a bunch of times. In a normal case, they would have been stormtroopers, but they weren't. Then we saw clone troopers, but again, that was this episode. So I think you're on to something, buddy.
Yep. Okay. I mean, not that it's groundbreaking or anything.
No, it
like
is,
that,
because it's a Star Wars show that has never mentioned stormtroopers just yet until a 7th episode.
and now we're gonna have a lot more casualties going forward.
Mhm.
Exactly. So what kind of troopers are on Aldani then?
With
Like, are they a different?
they're like just officers?
They have to be so like an officer, right? But like
Yeah.
all of them, like what?
Yeah,
This
how many
is
people
curious.
are in charge there? Yeah.
Right. And it's a garrison. There was 12, maybe 16. We don't know the number. We'll never know the number. It's a mystery that we've been trying to solve for a long time. Yeah, interesting. Okay, cool. Anything else, Dames, or do you want to split it? Do you want to keep going? What do you want to do?
That was
Okay. Mike, go ahead.
So obviously noticed the Shore Troopers. Was this the first live action Shore Troopers?
Since Rogue One.
Yeah. I love the Shore. I just
They're so great. It's a great one. It's actually a good addition to like how they like Sith Trooper, bad. No offense. You just made them red. It's stupid. But like the Shore Trooper makes sense.
Yeah.
Because they needed to adapt to different climates. Like the Snow Trooper makes sense. Love it.
Yeah.
Sith Trooper, take a lap.
Book of Boba had the Shore Troopers too. Shows how much I paid attention to Book of Boba Fett.
Book of Boba Fett had Shore Troopers? How could they have Shore Troopers if it takes place in the future? I don't understand that. You're going to need to check that source. Check that source. I don't like it. Judges? They're not here. They're in your basement.
Judges?
They didn't answer me.
They all ran away. They don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
I enjoyed the like Galaxy newscast.
Yes, like it's in black and white, like WandaVision.
Yeah, there was one like live action, like one dude just like reporting like this is
It's Ron Burgundy of the
this is
Space
Tom
Galaxy.
Tucker, blah blah blah. and then Luton was listening to like KYW of news with like a droid talking about the heist.
It is like when Ron Weasley is listening to the radio to see what wizards have been captured, and it's the worst sounding radio ever.
I love the what else was there? I love the obviously the Palpatine name drops.
Yep.
And I loved the Farrah Fawcett beach walk of the KX units, the droids.
Yeah.
That, like it was why they have to do the slow motion of the KX droids, just like walking towards Cass, like it was going to be C2SO just like coming to give him a hug.
Yeah,
to give you that little
that was,
bit of a
yeah.
tease.
Definitely done intentional, because I was I wrote that down for a bottom, because I was like, well, we got faked out, because I was like, oh, it's K2, he's here, and
Yeah.
obviously like K2 had to get reprogrammed. He's not just going to be friendly, but yeah, it was still cool just to see them again. Obviously setting up K2 down the road.
And B2 Emo, he's still Doug from Up.
yes.
When Marva shuts him down, I go, oh.
I love B2. He's such a great droid addition to the galaxy. Like
Yeah,
he's awesome.
And to speak to that, and I know Ro that the Scuttle Daddy has put this out there in the ether. Probably not the first one, maybe the last one. Who knows? And I think I sent it to you guys. Probably he's transferring the memory core from B2 into a K2. B2, K2. Right? B2, K2. It's probably going to happen.
It kind of sounds like Alan Tudyk too, like slightly.
Is there a character list? Like, I mean, or an actor list?
I looked it up because I thought it was Alan Tudyk as well. It is not Alan Tudyk. I forget what the actor's name is.
Yeah. Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. But I do like the droids. Speaking of droids, on Space Cancun, are those Viper droids that are patrolling the area are the same Viper droids that killed off Val in Solo? I think so. I think they're the same style, right? They're not quite
Probe.
Yeah, they're not quite proby. They're more of an attacking sort of droid. So I thought that was pretty cool. Some of the lines that I wrote down, Smile, of course, is a great one. But the best line of the episode, systems either change or die. And that is so huge for tech, and that is so huge for Star Wars. Is it a secret message? Secret message about Star Wars. Star Wars is a system that has fallen into trilogies, and it either has to change or die. And we've talked about it for a long time about how they have to grow up, how they have to expand out, and that they haven't really done a good job since 2015, and that's fine. But they seem to be righting the ship a little bit. But in tech, systems either change or die. You either adapt to what you need to adapt to, or somebody else is going to do it. So I like the idea that Deidre was like, listen, they don't care about the lines you draw, right? They're not following the rules. So we either have to adapt to them, or they're probably going to win. Because everybody's like not looking beyond the lines. Everybody's trying to do black and white. And that's just not the way it works with a rebel guerrilla group, baby. Deidre, she won't be a problem. But I do find myself rooting for her. Do you find yourself rooting for Deeds?
Within the ISB, yes.
Yes.
Because Blevin could go pound sand.
Blevin's snarky.
No.
Snarky. Yeah, not too much else. I do like the line from Clea. This is what revolutions look like. There is a lot of great lines in this this episode and in this series. Really, a lot of great lines.
Luthen has one.
Yeah.
There will be no rules going forward.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. And guess what? Luthen and Deidre said the same thing on different sides. 100%. Love that. Wipe that smile off your face. You knew she was coming. Right? Like Luthen's expecting Mon Mothma to show up. Like he knows.
Yeah.
Right? What are you talking about? That's so great. Oh my God. This episode is so great. So great. Any final notices that you see that you want to highlight?
I'm good.
I'm also good.
Okay, great. All right, well then we are going to start landing this ship, this trawler, with our 1 sentence summary. Okay, we're here in our 1 sentence summary. And I don't really have one, I'm going to be honest with you. So I'm going to excuse myself. I tried to write one all for the past hour and 50 minutes, and it just wasn't happening. So I'd like to hear yours. Okay. So Damien, let's start off with you, friend.
All right. Pretty simple. Andor, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Yes. Perfect. Perfect.
for 6 months and then instantly 6 years.
We didn't talk about the Andor scene and how much it reflects real life in the instant blaming and you're involved and now you're arrested without due process. And I think that's a brilliant way of bringing some attention to that. And as white people, we probably have never really dealt with that. But the more diverse culture out there have dealt with that for really no reason for the most part. And that's a sad thing.
The short trooper literally just keeps saying over and over, "You're a part of them."
Right.
What?
What? Stop playing dumb.
I am literally just standing here.
Why are you sweating?
I
was watching
Kenny
Cops.
Coon.
Scarif says Andor was arrested for walking when Mexican. Yeah,
Pretty much.
pretty much. But Ro is Mexican, so he's allowed to say that. Yeah, it's and like just like that. Oh, this was a 6-month sentence, and now it's 6 years, and you're like, what? He's gonna have a lot of time to read the manifesto, as they would say. It's clear.
Read Nemec's manifesto.
That's right. That's right, for sure. All right, Mike, back to you. 1 sentence summary.
This I also in a key of form of song.
We love songs.
This is "Won't Lou Forget About Me."
Won't Lou? Is that Luthen? Is that what you're referring to?
Oh yeah, that's absolutely.
Yeah, very good. Very good. He's not going to forget about him.
No.
Yeah, Luthen's, I don't know what Luthen's role is going to be. Who are the 3 people Mon's talking about? Let's conjecture a little bit. Luthen. Clea. Bail. Not yet.
Not yet.
Right? Is Tay 3 or is Tay 4? Is Tay...
Tay would be 4. Teo.
Would Tay be 4? It's interesting. I don't know. But it's a question I'd like to ask, for sure. It's a question I would like to ask. All right. Now that we've gotten through 6 and 7, we can get into our juicy predictions for episode 8 that drops in 17 minutes.
$3 hours and 17 minutes.
Oh, does it drop at 3 in the morning?
Yeah.
No. Wow.
If we were on the West Pole, we would still have 3 hours.
If we're, on the West Coast, we'd still have 3 hours and 17 minutes.
Math.
Yeah. No, I don't think any of those droids are K2SO yet. Maybe later down the line, as they would say, bets. But I think they're getting there. I think they were there to do that as a shock factor for the crowd. For those who watched Rogue One. For those who didn't watch Rogue One, they're just another couple of droids. You got to think about it that way, right? So that's just whatever. So, all right. I think one of the bigger predictions is, Vel. Well, we didn't even talk about like Vel's job now is to kill Cassian, so that's kind of cool. But will she, or will she break him out? Prediction 1. What's going to happen there? Does Cyril get involved now that he's in the Bureau of Standards? Does he have access to certain files? Like, I don't know, Cassian Andor's face in the system. Now, Grief Cargo. What's his name?
Keith Gergo.
Keith Gergo. Julie Jerkoff. Excuse me, Kirkoff. Did you ever see that video?
Yes.
It's hilarious. Oh my God. Graduation video, Dame. She's walking across the stage. Julie Jerkoff. Excuse me, Kirkoff. Hilarious. Keith Gergo. Terrible name. Where are these names coming from? Revnog. Does Cyril go to help break him out? That's my big prediction. We're clearly going to have a time jump, though. Let's just be real about it. Vel's going to need time to find him. So how much of a time jump do we see? A year? It's time now. It's time to go forward a little bit, right?
So this is 5 years before, and season 2 is a year before Rogue One.
Yeah.
So maybe like 2 years.
2 year time jump. You heard it here first. Dame, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, I really you can go anywhere in between there. So I mean, it would make sense for him to be there for a bit of that 6. Like, I don't want him to just instantly get broken out, like
No,
6
I
months into it.
agree.
I want him to be there. Like, I want to see him like fending for himself in prison and everything else. So I mean,
Do we see
2
the prison
years,
system? That's a good point.
2 years, I think would be 2, maybe 3.
Does he go to Wobani like Jyn Erso did? I don't know if Wobani is a thing yet.
I wouldn't mind seeing like a time jump within the episode, meaning like you see him getting taken to prison, and then you see like a couple of things that happened dealing with the aftermath of the heist, and then there's like a 2 years later type of thing.
Yeah.
He's got longer hair, he's got the beard back to show that time has passed. And I think it'll be like a new prison connection that helps break them out. And like this episode is maybe that prison connection is Saw.
Ooh.
And this episode is that little time jump, and then a planning montage, and the episode after would be the prison break.
Oh. I can co-sign this. That's wonderful. That's a wonderful theory and prediction. Thank you, Mike, for your brain. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Dames, care to extrapolate?
Yeah, I think Vel, it's kind of like it could go either way, but I do think that like Vel's gonna break him out, but I think there's gonna be like the assistance from Cyril on that, because he knows, like he's staring at that, he knows where he is. Like I think for him it's gonna be like his little moment of redemption, and then go from there. And then I still think, and this is just my like long term, not next episode prediction, but long term, we're gonna get Cassian's sister. Like, obviously she was brought up in this episode, and I think that it was just to kind of remind us like what his whole purpose was when this show started.
Yeah.
And I think she's still gonna be somebody in the Empire, like high ranking person, something like that, and it's just gonna break his heart, and either she dies, like he loses everyone like we talked about, or she stays put, and then he just decides like, you're not the same person that I knew. I got to take you down.
Marva was pretty adamant about stating that no one survived Kenari, but what if Marva knows exactly what happened with the people of Kenari? What if they were recruited into the Empire? What if she knows for a fact that she is Imperial, and that would be the biggest disappointment of Andor's sort of life, seeing her on the other side,
right?
Or more recently, as I read through a lot of Red 5 chatter on live streams and stuff, what if Clea is Andor's sister?
I was just going to say that too.
And again, not my original thought, just I steal things when I can see them. I cherry pick things, as they would say. And what if they never see each other at all, but we both know? Like the audience knows, and they're so close, and obviously Clea eats it of some sort.
And then he'll never know, adding another layer of depth and despair to Cassian Andor.
Indeed. Did you notice that the recap has started exactly the same for the past 3 episodes?
Yes.
What if you could be a part of something bigger?
I always try and skip.
That's Red 5's now new intro. What if you could be a part of something bigger?
Good old thing.
We haven't had any good lines from Luthen in a while. We need you back, buddy.
We have not had a lot of Luthen.
We haven't had mean Luthen in a while. We need mean Luthen back.
I mean, he did say from this point on there are no rules.
Yeah, for sure.
You said we haven't had any good lines.
He throws the wig off. I don't know. All right, friends. any final thoughts? I mean, we were in one sentence summary, but, which by the way, I used 0 of my graphics. Hold on, let's watch this. There they are. Predictions.
Hey.
Predictions. We're in. That's what happens when you take a week off. You forget how to produce a show. Any final predictions before we finish this off?
Phillies in 5.
Okay. Phillies in 5. That's a bold prediction. I don't want them to go back to Houston, just like how I didn't want them to go back to any home turf to anybody. Phillies in 5 would be lovely, wouldn't it?
I'm saying that because I'm going to Game 5.
Yeah, okay, well, that's self-serving. All right. We're going to finish
Dengar's
this.
going to break Cassian out for sure.
Absolutely. I agree. Cosign. Speaking of finishing off.
I mean, it's the same day. You would think I would just stick with one OnlyFans, but I've, within the last hour, changed it to Gurgo the Balls.
Oh, man. That's disgusting. That is disgusting. There is no possible way we could make the show any longer except ripping on Luna Girl, who is a Giants fan, and there is no way in hell that the Giants will win the NFC East. That is just an absolute tragedy, and you need to go take a lap. Why don't you go outside and touch grass, as one of our famous Red Fivers would say. But we can't thank you enough for joining us on this 2-hour and 11-minute journey. I will probably split this episode podcast-wise, so you don't have to listen to the full thing, and we will pull some highlights from it. But once again, we love that you were here with us to wrap up episode 6 and 7. And in just a short 8 minutes and 3 hours, episode 9 will be... Episode 9 will be in 7 days. Episode 8 will be debuting in just a few short hours, and we hope you enjoy it. Also, Tales of the Jedi just comes out tomorrow as well. Is it a full series drop, or is it episode by episode?
I don't know, but I know they're like 6-minute shorts, aren't they?
Oh. Well,
I know they're
Full
described
drop,
them as like shorts.
yeah, okay. All right, well.
I hope they're not like I Am Groot shorts, which are 2.5 minutes long.
Okay. All right, well, now I'm less excited for it. It should be interesting. I know the big debate is, oh, how will Yaddle speak? It doesn't matter. Who cares? It's irrelevant. We thank you, Megan. Tales of the Jedi 2-episode drop. Megan, full series drop. I don't know. Damn it. No extra cereal wafers. Thank you, DB, for your constant creativity with the SW. We appreciate everybody in the chat. Don't forget, this weekend, the 29th, 28th, there will be a 24-hour stream to fund a fellow Red Fiver who had a house fire. So please help out if you can. Check out the stream. Donate, share, like, do all the things. Happy soon birthday to the baby boy, coming soon in April. Damien, welcome back. God damn it, fix your camera, please, if you can. If not, it's okay. We'll
I'm
deal.
going phone next time. I think that will be fine.
All right, we'll give it a shot. Give it a shot. Anything's better. No, I'm just kidding. Mike, it's been a pleasure as always. Have fun at the game. We will catch everybody. Well, listen, I can't guarantee that we'll catch everybody next week. It actually will depend on how the Phillies are doing, because they will play Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So wait, I can actually almost guarantee that we will not be doing this next Tuesday. So we will see you in a couple weeks, probably doing the same thing, 8 and 9, with our World Series champion shirts on, of course.
Yeah.
We love you. It's been a blast. As always, we're part of the Red 5 Network. This is Extra Star Wars. We'll see you next time.
This podcast is part of the Red 5 Network. For more Red 5 Network podcasts, visit red5network.com.